Hey everyone, this is Duran and I'm here with Mike here on a live Wholesale Live hotline. So if you have any questions about wholesale, call us or text us or send your comment down below 904-770-3195. That's our phone number here. If you have any questions about wholesaling, hard money, fix and flip, or how are you going to close your first deal, that's why we're here today. And Mike, so how was your week?
The week was great. I spoke with a lot of sellers, and we had one particular instance that was very interesting that we need to talk about here, where there's just some sellers that you think you're never going to close a deal with them ever. But then all of a sudden something just changes immediately, and you didn't even have them as a hot lead or anything like that, but they secretly are very, very motivated. So what happened was I had this one guy who I kept calling and stuff like that. And he had his property listed with a realtor. And he said he wasn't going to pull it off or anything like that because he had a contract with a realtor. And he didn't want to come down that much until about a month after I added him into the CRM. So after I added him into the CRM, a month after I added him to the CRM, he calls me again and he starts coming down on his price. His price was $180,000, and that's how much he had it listed for. And then he goes, okay, I'll come down to 145. And 145 was still too high for this property, so we couldn't do it. And then as time went on, he kept coming down. He kept coming down on his price until eventually he was just begging me, take the property at $125,000. Please, can we please do a deal at $125,000? But it still wasn't.
It still didn't work. The price didn't work.
Still didn't work. And so
we made him an offer for 105, and he said, "Never, I'll never take that deal." And then we find out, and this is something that everybody should remember. Have to ask the seller if they have any mortgage, if they have any liens, if they have any debt. And he did have a mortgage on the property that was 110. So he wanted to cover that, and he also had a debt for an AC that he installed for another $5,000 or $7,000. So that was his minimum. He didn't want to lose money. He didn't want to come out of pocket. So once we figured that out, we keep saying.
Yeah. So talking. What happened was we're just basically sitting there, and we get a call from the same seller. And he says, okay, you know what, can you do $117,000? And then, I personally thought that was going to work still until I found out it wouldn't work with the particular deal of us going and actually getting the property for $117,000. But I tried to get him down. I was like, is that really the lowest you could do? And so he came down to 115, and he's like, you're killing me here. That's the lowest I could do. So I said, can I put you on hold for 5 minutes? And then I guess, Duran, what happened then?
Yeah. So even at 115, the deal didn't work. But always have a bunch of different exits on your deal. So what you can buy it as cash, you can do an owner finance, you can do a subject to, or you can do other types of deals like innovation where you can put it on the MLS. Well, this one in particular was already on the MLS. We cannot do innovation on this one, but I was able to structure it as an owner finance or subject to actually. And then the deal makes much more sense. Once I did the numbers and I saw that if we buy it cash and we're going to sell it for whatever, 125, 123, we're not going to make anything. And the guy, he just said, take the house. I don't want it. If you can make the payments, great. So all we need to do is just do a subject to his existing mortgage, and we're going to pay the mortgage and we get the house actually for free, no down payment.
So the deal would have been very tight if we just did the 115, right? So
Right.
my question that I asked you yesterday that I'm really trying to understand was that deal would have made around 3,000 or so, but then you said subject to can make more. So how is that
Yeah.
possible?
So when you buy subject to and you have a very low down payment or even zero down payment, you're gonna pass it. You're gonna assign the deal to someone else that's gonna come up with the down payment. Okay, so that down payment is gonna go to you as the guy that brought the deal, as the guy that is signing the deal, and that down payment can be 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever that buyer is gonna bring is going to go to you as a profit. So that's how you can make much more money on each deal if you have a bunch of different exit strategies and not just one. Don't stick just to the cash offer. Go to different strategies and see how where you're going to maximize your ROI on the deal.
Oh, and it seems like the motivation that that particular seller has is one that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
That they just like have so much on their mortgage and they just can't pay it off and they just want to walk away. Are there any other like really big motivations that you've seen that are really sticking out right now to tap into?
Yeah, so a lot of people bought their property in 2020, 2021, even 2019 before COVID, and stuff changed. And now they want to move, or the mortgage is too high, or they don't want that house anymore because a lot of things change in the world in the past 3 years, and people just want to get out. And these days, it's so hard to sell a house if it's on the market, if it's a market price. There are not a lot of options for them. So when you come in as the savior and going to take the house, find another buyer that's going to buy the house from them, or sign the deal, or do any kind of creative financing, you can make the deal work. And a lot of people need that right now. So if you know what you're doing and you know how to structure the deal, you can help a lot of people. And in the process, you're going to make a lot of money also. So that's what you guys needs to learn, and it's not a lot to learn. It's not rocket science, right? It's not like go learn in university for 4 years. You can learn these things pretty fast, and you can make deals in less than 30 days. But you got to be consistent. You got to be persistent. You got to call the sellers. You got to talk to the sellers and follow up. The more you call sellers, the more you talk to sellers, the more you get to know them. You're gonna know how you're gonna help them.
Wow. So it seems like with subject to, even if the seller is asking a pretty high price for their property, that you can still do a deal and make a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. Because if there is equity, you got to check the equity. If there's equity in the property, and there is a lot of people right now that want to buy a house, but they cannot qualify for a house. So if you bring that solution to them, listen, you can buy this house. You don't need to qualify for mortgage. We already have a mortgage on this property. You just need to have a job, pay that mortgage, and come up with a down payment. They're gonna be, wow, I love this. I want to buy this house from you, and I'll buy and I'll pay the down payment, and everything can go smooth.
Would you say that's like the best way to close deals right now, or are there any other strategies that stick out to you right now?
Well, that's a good strategy. The subject to or the owner financing. It's a great. It was always been, but right now in the market condition, it's a great option. Also, innovation. So if you have a property that's ready for market, but the owner doesn't want to put it on the market, they don't have time, they don't know sellers. I mean, they don't know listing agents. They don't want to fix anything. Taking that property, putting it on the market for them, and making the deal like that and opening to the whole market can make you much more money.
Wow.
So have that in mind when you go and see a property, when you talking to sellers, have a lot of options.
Right. And why would you say that it might be better sometimes to wholesale these deals instead of finding a hard money lender or using your own cash or something like that? Like, why is it better to wholesale on deals?
Well, it's a big thing. People like to do fix and flips, and some people like to do wholesale. I do both, but I can tell you that and when you do wholesales, you don't have any risk, any money risk. It's much faster. The profit can be the same as fix and flips. And when you go to buy a fix and flip, you have to put all the money, or you're going to bring a hard money lender, meaning you got to need to put a down payment. You got to do the monthly payment, pay taxes, pays insurance, and do the work. And when you do fix and flips, you know, I mean, there is always surprises. There's always going to be stuff that you didn't know because you don't know what's going on with the house. Sometimes you have a surprise. You need to do a new roof, or you need to do a new AC, or you need to do the pool, or you need to do this and that stuff can cost so much money that you didn't even count to. That's the risk that you have with fix and flips. Also, you're going to put it on the market. It can sit there for 3 to 6 months, especially in this market. And you know, it's a big risk and it's a lot of money to put in. So if you have that wholesale option and you know how to assign the property, you can make the profit. Sometimes the same as the fix and flip, but much faster, no risk, and much smoother, and move on to the next property.
Wow, that's amazing. So, and to bounce off of that, when you're speaking with sellers about this, and you're a wholesaler, should you blow your cover that you're a wholesaler, or should you say, "This is my money"?
You're not blowing anything. Let's be honest here. You're either going to buy the property from them or you're going to find another buyer that's going to buy it from them. But the end result is they want to sell the property, right? So that's what's important here. I want to sell a property. Just are you going to buy it? I'm not sure, maybe, but if not, I'm going to bring another buyer, another partner, another investor that's going to buy it from you, and you don't need to take care of anything. That's the end result, what they want. You just have to have the right, you know, words. You have to know what to say to make it sounds like how they need it to sound.
Exactly, and I know
You're
that
not you're not buying anything. Basically, you're there to help them.
right, and I know that you told me that one of my novation pitches was not that good recently. Because I don't I don't. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, I mean, you told them that I'm not going to buy the house from you. I'm
Yeah,
just going to find another buyer, and that's basically the job of an agent. And we're not agents. We're not acting as agents. We're not going to want to be an agent. Um, by the way, a disclaimer: we're not an attorneys. We're not a CPAs. We're not. This is only for educational purposes. But what I'm saying here that we're not going to be representing the seller as an agent, right? We're going to represent ourselves as a principal in the transaction. We're going to buy the property from them, or we're going to find another buyer that's going to JV with us, joint venture with us to buy the property.
so it seems like sellers really don't care as long as they're going to eventually get the money.
Some sellers do care, and I really don't know why, but some sellers do care. But it really depends on how you present the offer to them. If you present it in the right way, saying that I'm not going to be able to buy this property because of one, two, three, too much, it's too far from me, or I have too many projects, or whatever the reason is, but I have a network of investors online and offline that I can present this property to them, and one of them is going to be able to buy this property from
Wow.
you
So
and close, and you don't need to pay any fees, any commissions, or any closing costs.
wow. So the reason for doing a novation deal, giving them an actual reason why you have to do it this way is very important. Like you're not 55 and you need to find a 55 plus buyer, stuff like that. That's very important.
It's yeah, if it's in a 55 community and you're not 55, obviously you cannot buy the house yourself. You can bring a partner that's going to buy it with you, or you can assign it to someone else that's going to be 55 and you can buy that property from them. Yeah.
Wow. Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, you're there to find a solution. You're there to help them get the property sold and get this thing moving forward.
Right. And it seems like back to the subject too that a solution like that where you're just like you said with the words, you're kind of just like saying, okay, we're gonna take this massive weight off your back, and it's almost like an immediate win-win for a lot of sellers.
Yeah, yeah. People have sometimes they already moved on to a different property or they moved to a rental and they don't want this house, and now this house sits vacant and they have a burden paying that mortgage, paying their rent, and you come up with that solution, because the realtor that they hired cannot sell the property. They cannot do anything, that the property is not selling.
Right. And would you say that for the subject to properties, the two biggest things to figure out are if they have another place, first of all, and the second thing is how much is their mortgage on the property?
Right.
That's
It's
okay.
very important to know, because
Right.
if they have a very high mortgage, monthly mortgage, depends on the property. If it's $1 million, fine. But if it's a 200,000 house and they have $2,000 monthly mortgage, that can be a little problem for the buyer that's going to come in. So you got to make sure that the monthly mortgage is not crazy high,
Right.
because people are going to be needing to move into that property and pay that mortgage. So it needs to stay low. So all these things you got to ask the seller for the mortgage statement. Okay, you got to ask them for whatever, if they owe it on the property. Yeah, yeah, but you got to remember, this is the numbers game, right? So the more you call people, the more you talk to people, the more deals that you're gonna make, right? But we found a solution. We found a solution that we don't need to talk to sellers cold calling. We don't need to call these people. We don't need to go through a list of thousands or 2,000 or 5,000 people just to find one. Mike, tell us about your solution.
Right.
Actually,
So it's not even that we found it. We actually just built it because
hmm
we were just like, why can't we just build this thing? So we put a bunch of money into it, and it's working phenomenal. Like we have this internal system now that literally books appointments for us, and we don't have to do anything. We just basically have to come and sit at our computer, and the appointments show up, and we have to call the people. That's
right.
basically what happens, and it's a really cool thing.
So let me get it straight. You just come in the morning and you have booked appointments and you just call the sellers. That's
Basically,
all you do.
that's it. You just click a button, and all of a sudden, this thing like talks to a bunch of sellers for you and books appointments. That's basically what
Wow.
happens.
Wow. And these are motivated sellers. They,
Motivated
they, they
sellers,
want to
yeah.
sell the property.
These are people that want to sell their properties. Exactly. It says, "Hey, what do you want to sell your property for? Do you
Hmm.
want to book a call and stuff like that?" And then it books a call with them. And obviously, everybody that does not want to book a call, not motivated. People that do want to book a
Exactly.
call, obviously, they have some deep down problem or motivation that they're trying to solve, and you can get on a call with them and talk to them.
That's amazing. So it actually saves you so much time of call calling or going through not motivated people. So you already have the booked appointment. You just need to pick up the phone at the time and call those sellers and ask them, "Are you actually selling?" Yes. Okay, great. What's the price? What is the house? And that's it. And then that's how you can close a deal in less than 30 days.
Exactly, and I basically started off sometimes too, like going and cold calling the for sale by owner list, not even filtering these people out, and that was a terrible strategy and a massive waste of time. You said that going and calling as many sellers as possible is a great thing, but then you also said that going and calling the right sellers is a very important thing. Spending your time on the right calls, and
Yeah.
with a system like that, it can absolutely be done, and you have a massive edge over other people
Right.
who are just cold calling the for sale by owner list.
Yeah, just think about it. If you call people that are motivated, it's going to motivate you to call more people and to talk to more motivated sellers. But if you call these cold leads that they don't want to sell and they hang up the phone and they don't want to talk to you, you're like, this doesn't work. I don't want to do this. So that's why the booked appointments is amazing, because you actually talk to people that are motivated to sell. They have a reason to sell, and sometimes the price is not good. Okay, but that's fine. That's how we have to negotiate with them, know what we need to say, and how to negotiate them down to make the price work for everybody.
Right, and it feels like you're busy and productive when you're calling just a bunch of cold leads and stuff like that. But are you actually being effective when you actually have real good booked appointments that want to talk with you? That's being effective.
Right. And the only way to become master in something is just doing it constantly, consistently doing it. And if you're going to talk to these motivated sellers consistently every day, you're going to be so good at it that you're going to be able to close five deals a month or even more than that. And that's why we're here to help you guys close as much as possible.
Right.
Yeah. So what other questions did we have this week? Did you have anything?
Is there anybody that asked you questions yet, Steve?
if we don't have any more questions, we're just gonna.
Does not look like we have any questions here.
Okay. All right. That was a great session. We're gonna talk about the appointment next week as well, because this is a big thing. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, just post it in the comments. We can answer later, or call us next week, and we'll be here again. Thank you so much. This is the Ron with the hotline for wholesaling, and thanks, Mike.
All right,
And
thanks.
I'll see you next week.
All right, bye, everybody.
All right.